Hey Paddock crew, and welcome back to Her Paddock. If you're new here, I'm Lisa and this is the podcast where we celebrate Formula 1, F1 Academy and more importantly the people behind the sport. Now each week we're going to have a segment called Behind the Helmet, because behind every helmet there is a story. Some are world champions, some are engineers, some are strategists, and some are the next generation hoping to reach Formula 1. And today we're starting with somebody who has raced at the highest level of motorsport and is now helping shape the future. Today we're talking about the one and only Susie Wolff. When people hear the name Susie Wolff, many know her as the managing director of F1 Academy. Others remember her as one of the very few women to drive during a modern day Formula 1 Grand Prix weekend. But to understand why she became such an important figure in motorsport, we have to go back to the beginning. Now, Susie was born in Scotland as Susie Stoddart. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with that. Now, her parents owned a motorcycle dealership, so her engines, racing, competitions were simply part of her everyday life. And like many racing drivers, she began karting at a young age. And here's something that I think is really important. She wasn't racing against girls, she was racing against everyone. From the very beginning, she had to prove she belonged. And that's exactly what she did. She worked her way through the junior ranks, showing determination, talent and resilience every step of the way. Motorsport had never been an easy career, and for women, the opportunity has been historically limited. But Susie kept moving forward. Her great career eventually led her to touring cars before joining the Williams Formula 1 team as a development driver. And in 2014, she became the first woman in over 2 decades to take part in a Formula 1 race weekend. Think about that for a second. The pressure, the spotlight, the expectations. She wasn't just driving for herself. Whether she wanted the responsibility or not, she was representing women in motorsport, and she handled it with professionalism and determination. She showed that women belonged at a very high level of the sport. Now, many people also know Susie because she's married to Toto Wolff, the team principal and CEO of Mercedes Formula 1 team, and together they have a son, Jack. Now, this part I absolutely love. Jack has now started karting himself, which I'm not surprised at, and I'm really glad. So even after everything Susie has achieved in racing, she's now spending her weekends back at karting tracks and cheering on the next generation. She recently joked that she'd never really get a break from racing, and I think that's absolutely brilliant because it shows that motorsport isn't just her career, it's part of her family life. Now, I also want to say something that's important to me. I don't want Susie's story to be defined by who she's married to. Long before she was Mrs. Wolff, she was Susie, a racing driver, a competitor, and a woman carving her own path in the toughest sport in the world. Her achievements belonged to her. Then came what I honestly believe could be the best part of Susie's legacy, the F1 Academy. Now, I think there is a common misconception about the F1 Academy. Some people assume that it is there to make motorsport easier. It isn't. It's there to create opportunities to give talented young women more track time, more experience, more visibility and more support, and hopefully more pathways into a higher level of motorsport. Watching F1 Academy this weekend reminds me why it matters. These drivers are talented, they are brave, they are determined, and they put some fantastic racing on. And they're not asking for special treatment, they're asking for an opportunity to compete. And every race weekend, they've proven exactly why they deserve that opportunity. When I created Her Paddock, I didn't want it to be just another Formula 1 podcast. Yes, we'll preview races. Yes, we'll review races and cars and everything else. But I also want to tell stories that don't always make the headlines. The stories behind the helmets, the engineers, the strategists, the mechanics, the presenters, the photographers, the marshals, the women working behind the scenes, and the incredible drivers chasing their dreams in F1 Academy. Because one day, one of these young drivers might become a Formula 1 star. And when that day comes, I want us to be able to say we knew her story before the world did. Thank you so much for joining me on this very first episode of Behind the Helmet. If there's someone in motorsport whose story you'd love to hear, let me know. Next time, we'll discover another incredible person helping shape the future of motorsport. I've been Lisa, this is Her Paddock, because behind every helmet there is a story, and at Her Paddock we'll make sure it's heard. Have a great day.